12,000 feet above sea level, a farmer chews a handful of green leaves and keeps climbing. His lungs should be screaming. The air up here holds half the oxygen his body wants, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't even slow down. For 3,000 years, people in these mountains have carried empires, built cities, and survived altitudes that kill outsiders within days, all with the help of one plant tucked into their cheek. That plant is coca, and what humans did to it over the centuries that followed turned a sacred leaf into one of the most valuable and most destructive commodities on Earth. This isn't a story about a drug, not at first. It's a story about survival at altitude, about empires that ran on a leaf, about chemists who thought they'd found a miracle, and about how a plant meant to help people endure hardship became something that manufactures it instead. Is there a bottle of Coca-Cola in your fridge right now? Keep that thought. We're coming back to it. Chapter 1: The World Before. Before any of this had a name, there was a problem. The Andes Mountains are beautiful and brutal in equal measure. Thin air, freezing nights, back-breaking labor just to farm a hillside steep enough to give a mule second thoughts. Early Andean communities needed something that could dull hunger, ease pain, and let a human body function where it had no business functioning. They found their answer growing wild on the eastern slopes, a small shrub with waxy green leaves. Chewed slowly, held in the cheek, mixed with a pinch of ash to help it release its effects, the leaf did something remarkable. It sharpened the mind, it quieted the stomach, it let a body climb longer, work harder, and feel less of the punishing cold. To the people who depended on it, this wasn't a drug. It was closer to a lifeline, and lifelines in every culture tend to become sacred. Chapter 2: The Discovery. Nobody can say exactly which farmer, hunter, or traveler first noticed the effects of coca. There's no single accident story here, no bolt of lightning moment. Instead, there's something quieter and in its own way more impressive: generations of trial, observation, and refinement. Archaeological evidence puts coca chewing in the Andes as far back as 8,000 years. By the time the Inca built their empire, the leaf had gone from folk remedy to state resource. The Inca elite controlled coca cultivation. They rationed it to laborers building roads across impossible terrain. They burned it as offerings to their gods and buried it with their dead, believing it would ease the journey to whatever came next. This was a plant so valuable that access to it marked your place in society. Commoners were sometimes restricted, nobility were not. Long before anyone imagined a drug trade, coca was already currency, medicine, and ritual, all folded into one small green leaf. Chapter 3: The Global Journey. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, they were baffled by coca. Catholic missionaries initially condemned it as a pagan vice, something to be stamped out along with Incan religion itself. But the Spanish crown noticed something the missionaries hadn't. Workers chewing coca in the silver mines of Potosi could labor longer, eat less, and complain less. Practicality beat piety. The same colonizers who'd banned the leaf started taxing it instead. For nearly 300 years after that, coca stayed largely where it had always been, a regional plant tied to a regional people. That changed in 1855 when a German chemist named Friedrich Gaedke managed to isolate the active compound inside the leaf. He called it cocaine. Suddenly, the leaf's power didn't need a mountain, a farmer, or a tradition passed down through generations. It could be extracted, concentrated, bottled, and shipped anywhere in the world. Europe was fascinated. In Paris, a chemist named Angelo Mariani mixed coca extract with wine and created a tonic that became wildly popular among writers, popes, and even royalty. Around the same time, in Atlanta, a pharmacist looking for his own version of that formula combined coca leaf extract with cola nut and created a fizzy tonic he called Coca-Cola. Doctors, meanwhile, were finding real medical uses. Sigmund Freud championed cocaine as a treatment for depression and fatigue before growing far more cautious once he witnessed its grip on people close to him. Surgeons discovered it numbed tissue on contact, and it became one of the first effective local anesthetics, a genuine medical breakthrough that saved patients from the agony of surgery performed with no pain relief at all. For a brief window, cocaine wasn't feared, it was celebrated. It showed up in tonics, lozenges, and cigarettes, marketed as a cure for everything from toothaches to shyness. Chapter 4. Science versus Myth. Here is where the story people tell and the story science tells start pulling apart. The 19th century believed cocaine was close to a wonder drug. Energy, focus, confidence, all from a plant extract. What they didn't yet understand was what was happening inside the brain. Cocaine blocks the reabsorption of dopamine, the chemical tied to pleasure and reward. That flood of dopamine is what produces the euphoria users described. But the brain adapts quickly to repeated flooding. It produces less dopamine on its own and needs more of the drug just to feel normal. What looked like a stimulant for productivity was physiologically priming the brain for dependency. By the early 20th century, doctors were reporting addiction, psychosis, and death. The same substance, once handed out in patent medicines, was pulled from pharmacy shelves. Coca-Cola quietly removed cocaine from its formula around 1903, though the coca leaf itself, stripped of its psychoactive compound, is still used today for flavoring under strict government licensure. Legends had oversold what coca extract could do. Hard evidence, gathered the painful way, corrected the record. Chapter 5. Modern Context. The story could have ended there, with cocaine relegated to medical use and cautionary tales. It didn't. In the 1970s and 80s, demand in the United States exploded, and the coca leaf's descendant became the foundation of one of the most violent and lucrative criminal economies the world has ever seen. Colombian cartels, most infamously Pablo Escobar's Medellin organization, built smuggling networks capable of moving tons of cocaine into American cities every month. At the height of his operation, Escobar's wealth was estimated in the billions, funded almost entirely by a plant that Andean farmers had once chewed simply to survive a workday in the mountains. Governments responded with a decades-long war on drugs, spending hundreds of billions of dollars on interdiction, eradication, and incarceration. Coca crops were sprayed from the air, cartel leaders were hunted and killed, and still production and demand persisted, because as long as the appetite exists somewhere in the world, someone will find a way to meet it. Today, the global cocaine trade is estimated to be worth more than $100 billion a year. Meanwhile, in the same Andean villages where this story began, indigenous farmers still grow coca legally for chewing and tea, still treated as medicine and tradition rather than a criminal commodity, caught between an ancient practice and a modern industry that shares its name, but almost nothing of its spirit. Chapter 6. Full circle. So here's the strange truth sitting at the center of this story. A leaf that helped farmers breathe at altitudes that would flatten most of us, a plant sacred enough to bury with the dead, a discovery that once saved surgery patients from unbearable pain, and eventually a chemical compound so potent it built cartels, funded wars, and reshaped entire nations. Same plant, completely different destinies depending on what humans decided to do with it. Next time you crack open a Coca-Cola, remember its name isn't a coincidence. It's a fossil, a leftover word from a formula that once contained the very leaf we've spent the last 10 minutes tracing across 3,000 years of human history. The name stayed. The story behind it rarely gets told. That's the thing about the objects sitting in our homes right now. Most of them are carrying a history far bigger than we ever stop to consider.